Baruch atah Asherah, Anat Melecha, Alam Asher Kiddushanu V'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu L'Hitativ L'Tzitzit. Good morning, Yuki. How are you? Good morning, Vintage Wildflower. So nice to see you. What is this? This is my candle. You had a rough start, but you're feeling better now? I also had a kind of rough start. I don't know about rough. That would be an exaggeration. But I woke up early, and then I ended up laying in bed for like, I don't know, an hour and a half. Just sort of like wondering what I was going to do today. If life had any meaning at all. That happens to me in the early mornings frequently, actually. That I have a kind of inertia, and it gets very difficult for me to move. And so I'm starting my day right now, a little bit late, maybe an hour later than I would have liked if I was full of energy. Can relate, yep. You haven't been to my live in so long because of personal reasons, but hey, you missed me. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're here now. Hey Ella, how are you doing? Good morning, Lily. What's the scent of the candle? The candle has no scent. It's just lamp oil, right? So the bottle is made from a nasal steroid because I have allergies, and when I used up all of the nasal steroid, I filled it with lamp oil and added a wick. Here's the lamp oil. The lamp oil used to contain lemon balm, but that was a long time ago. Now it's just oil. Do I have any suggestions for rituals for ADHD? No. That is a strange concatenation of paradigms if I've ever heard one. I mean, focus, breathe, right? Like, try not to think of your mind as a problem, even if it is a problem. Good morning, Glum Josh. Good morning. Good morning, lovely friends. Wildflower, what are you up to today? Gonna hang out with your son? You need this orange outfit. I like it. It suits me. It's a nice, bright, sunny day. Look at these flowers my partner got me. Aren't they beautiful? Oh gosh. When I bring them into the screen, the color corrector on my webcam just totally, everything becomes blue because the flowers are too yellow. You just said goodbye to your guests. You had guests over. Oh, now it's still blue. Can I fix that? That's better. It's a little bit greener. Your sister is coming over and you watered plants with your son. Two guests from TikTok. You have all these TikTok friends. You use TikTok in a very interesting way, my friend. Very different from the way that I use it. What would you say your motivation is for making a bunch of friends on TikTok? Or what are you trying to accomplish by being the personality that you are on TikTok? I ask myself these questions all the time. Sometimes if I ask other people, I might get insight. Gosh, look at all these papers. We're going to say these words, but ugh, very messy. It's all in my head anyway. I don't actually need the papers. Loneliness. You're on TikTok because you're lonely? You're lonely and you want friends. Well, I could basically say the same thing. I'm lonely and I want friends too. Is this a religious thing? Yes. A creative outlet and a distraction, not always a healthy one. Well, let's hope that this one is. Right? Yes, this is a religious thing. So we're going to warm up our voice now. Please watch out for that flame. Yeah, sometimes I put it out. And then I have to light it again. What religion? Well, that's a good question. Judaism, perhaps? My name is Teresa. What's your first name, Flower? You have real friends. I think your TikTok friends are real friends. I mean, if you're hanging out with them in your apartment, I think they're your real friends. No, I'm not in England, but Wildflower is. So, we're gonna warm up our voice so that we can pray together. So, if you'd like, we can breathe together as a sort of an alignment tool. Am I the same person who appropriates different religions? Maybe what I do is appropriation. I think that's up to you to decide. I don't think it's appropriative. But here I am, wearing all orange, saying words that I learned from men who wore all orange when that orange signified a status that I do not have. So who knows? You're a pagan witch from England, sending love. I don't actually have lashes on today. I just am wearing makeup that is a facsimile of lashes, or it's a branching pattern like what's behind me right here. Branching. It's just bifurcated branching. I don't really know how to do eyeliner. This is what I have landed upon as a daily makeup look. Good morning, everyone. I'm 31. I am 31. Do I know Jesus? Yeah, he's my pal. He died for my sins. We can sing about Jesus today if you like. Yeah. So, let's do some vocal warm-ups. And then we can start praying. So, let's do a quick body scan. And pay attention to your pelvis and your spine. I wouldn't say I'm Hindu, no. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and with our next exhalation, we're going to make a tone, a low tone, and try to make this tone as long and pure and sustained as you can, and pay attention to all the muscles in your body as they are activated and controlling the sound. The shape of your body creates the shape of the sound. Ready? often do I meditate? I meditate every morning. Good morning. This is my morning meditation, and I do it with you all because I like to. Because I think having a shared experience makes for a stronger experience. Thank you, Wildflower. How long do I meditate for? Well, we will be here together in this stream for maybe an hour. You have no idea how much you value these morning meditations. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Yuki. I'm really glad to hear that. I value you being here very much. Sometimes I will, this is prayer, right, more than meditation. I don't know the distinction between prayer and meditation. I suppose in meditation you're being quiet, and in prayer you're not being quiet, but the mental state that you're aiming at is largely the same. So sometimes I meditate silently. I don't do that on live stream, obviously. Sometimes I do breath meditation, pranayama. I might actually, maybe even next week, teach a pranayama class on my server. First I just finished preparing a Glomer-Mycota lecture. Just finished yesterday. I posted the last video on Glomalin yesterday evening, so perhaps some of you have seen that. So I made a bunch of videos about Glomer-Mycota, and they're for a lecture that I've been preparing for my class. And I'm going to give that on my Discord server maybe next week, sometime soon. And then after that, yeah, I can do pranayama classes. I only have so much bandwidth for teaching, given all the other things in my life. But yeah, pranayama is kind of breath meditation that I learned at the Shivananda Yoga Center, and yeah, I would like to offer that to you very soon. Very soon. Yes, I'm a teacher, Yuki. So I teach mycology at a university nearby, and I also teach mycology on the internet, as well as at my farm. I have students that come and learn with me. And there's other things that I have taught in the past, so pranayama's breath meditation, and I want to get back into teaching that, but it's hard. It's hard to know where to put my attention these days, because I'm a little bit fractured, and I would love to be putting more attention into this community here, but it's hard. It's hard to prioritize that because it's not where the money is, you know. There's a little bit of money in it, but not enough, so I still have to have a day job. Jumping out of dumpsters. Yes, I teach dumpster diving too. I'm in the United States, Hottie. Hottie Patootie? Hottie Pilati? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm in the United States. So, what should we do now? I'm 31. What should we do now? Let's say the Shema. How many of you have heard this prayer before? Shema? Shema, how many of you have heard the Shema before, or what it means? And when did you first hear it, if you have? Here's the prayer. You! Yes, I did know that, Yuki. It's very interesting for me to know, to try to get information on who in my audience, has experience with these traditions and who is here just because I'm interesting looking. Chew! Excuse me. Thank you. I'm glad you like my shawl. This is my grandfather's. Estrogen will make you look younger. When you transition at 28, all of a sudden you start to look much younger than you are. Excuse me. You like learning the prayers. You came for the info and stayed for the lovely amazingness. Yuki, are you on my server? You really should join my server. I'd love to chat with you on there, and not just in this stream of voices. It's hard to actually get to know someone in a context like that. Do I have meditation tips for people with ADHD? Don't view your mind as an enemy. Don't pathologize yourself. Just watch and see what happens. Yeah, so I talk about my server a lot on here, because that's the important thing, right? Building community is more than just live streams. So I have a little community Discord server. I have breakfast on there every morning. There's a link in my bio. And It's a nice place. Many of you. Yes, the Discord server. And I don't think you're on the Discord server, Yuki, but I would like to chat with you. So consider this a formal invitation. Please join. How am I Jewish and also trans? Oh, well, you just wait. You just wait. All right. My Judaism is not the kind of Judaism that many Jews would accept as Judaism. And that's something that concerns me, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I engage with the tradition as best I can, with the gender that I have, and with the life that I live. And if for some people it is unacceptable, what am I going to do? I'm just going to continue to be me. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Asherah, Echad, are one, like a serpent that eats its tail. Do I believe in reincarnation? Well, it depends on what you mean by reincarnation. I made a video about this. I posted it a couple weeks ago about the Tree of Life, right? So, where's the Tree of Life? Here. This is the Tree of Life. You see this tree? This tree is a graphical representation of all of the living creatures that have ever existed on this planet. So is this one. There's another version of it. Right, this one is more phylogenetically accurate, but they're both just symbols. They're representations of a thing which we all are, right? We are all part of that tree. And when we die, we are still part of that tree, because that tree contains all life that has ever been, right? And it's alive. Right, so do I believe that when I die, when Teresa dies, Teresa will be reincarnated in the form of a frog or a king? No, I don't think so. I think my personality is unique to me, unique to this body, and when this body goes, the personality will go with it. But there are some things of me that will persist, right? These videos will persist. Every day I record myself saying these words. It's like a Horcrux, right? Like there's a little version of me made out of light and electricity that lives in your phone, accessible whenever you want it. And even if I were no longer here, that version of me still would be. So in that sense, reincarnation is real. I reincarnate myself every morning, translate myself into light and electricity for you. So, I don't know. It depends on how you mean the words. What do you think reincarnation means? I'll tell you whether or not I believe in it. I also don't believe in believing, just in the same way that I don't identify with identifying, right? Categories are violent, symbols are violent, and I use them as little as possible. Not true at all. I use them extensively. But now I'm just speaking in riddles because I'm on live stream and I only have like 30 seconds to hold your attention before you leave and pay attention to somebody else. So I have to speak in riddles. Do I believe that I don't believe in anything? No, I have beliefs, I just try not to. Beliefs are a certain kind of thought that, I don't know. You keep meaning to ask, but I keep missing breakfast because of time zones. Tiresias or Teresa? So people call me Teresa. Like when I introduce myself in the physical world, I say my name is Teresa. Teresa's like clearly a girl name, right? It's a white girl name, and that's why I chose it, because I wanted to be seen as a white girl, because that's what I am. If I had changed my name, if I had transitioned and called myself Tiresias, like in person, people would have thought that I was pretentious, and maybe a little bit cuckoo. And I am actually both of those things. I'm extremely pretentious and a little bit mentally unstable, but Tiresias feels like a name that I need to earn. Basically, like people call me Tiresias on here, right, on the internet. On the internet, I'm Tiresias. And maybe when I am old, right, and I can actually claim to have lived a life in many genders and to understand something about the mysteries of the world, maybe then in person people will call me Tiresias too, right? Tiresias, the wise sage, who was transformed into a woman and then transformed back into some sort of non-binary blind seer. Tiresias is the oldest trans character in mythology that I know of, and so I aspire to be like them. But I wouldn't say I am like them yet. It's something I need to earn. So you can call me Teresa, right? Teresa feels more comfortable. But I chose the name Teresa because it's an anglicized version of the name Tiresias, right? They're very similar. They have all the same consonants. Would I like to write a book? You just made the connection. I've written a book. It's called A Curious Harvest. It's a cookbook. And if you'd like a copy, there's a link in my bio to get it. Yeah. Cookbook. It's a dumpster cookbook. Anyway, here we are. Like Guan Yin. How am I like Guan Yin? Tyrannosaurus, like an old archaic creature from ancient times, perhaps. Yeah, sure. So, well, what should we do? Should we pray together? That's what we're here for, right? So, yeah. Guanlin is literally a trans goddess. Since when was Guanlin trans? I've not heard anything about this. I thought Guan Yin was just like a Chinese beautiful woman. She's trans? Send me a source. Who says that Guan Yin is trans? ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words that I am repeating to you today, these words that are coming from my mouth and sent through the aether into your phone, into your mind, these words, teach them to your children, please. Teach them to anyone who you are speaking to who would be interested in listening. And recite them when you are at home and when you are away. And when you wake up in the morning, and when you go to bed at night. And you shall inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, and you shall bind them as a symbol on your hand and between your eyes. Said that a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Is this Egyptian? Well, no, but close. It's Hebrew, right? And those cultures are deeply linked, right? Both geographically and symbolically. This is one of the oldest prayers in Judaism, right? It's a prayer about repetition. It's a prayer that says, copy me, copy me, copy me, copy me. Like a serpent that eats its tail, the prayer contains itself. The meaning of the prayer is to produce the prayer in sound, right? And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done every day for the last 7 years. 7 years. I've said these words every morning. That's nice. What are my pronouns? Alright, I suppose I can answer that today. My graph got a little bit messed up. There was some water that was poured on it. But according to you all, according to this audience, these are my pronouns in these ratios. These are the ratios of things that people call me. Most people use she pronouns, and I appreciate that. But these are the pronouns. Good morning. Good morning from Vancouver. I'm so happy you're here. So, Jesus Christ loves you too. That book looks very uncomfortable. Yes, I do lecture at Binghamton University, and I do take hormones. You'll explain about Guan Yin. How do I pronounce that word? I want to pronounce that word. Avalokitesvara. Yes. Like, so this is why I have the Discord, right? Because I can't actually have a conversation with you about gender bending Guan Yin on a live stream, because I don't know anything about it, and there's just the fidelity of communication is poor. But we can chat on Discord, and I would love to learn. I would love to learn what you have to teach. Where are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're praying. We are praying. We're praying from the book of Deuteronomy. So the book of Deuteronomy was written over the course of about 200 years, and it was solidified after the Babylonian exile. And so it was solidified after a great trauma to the Jewish people. They lost their kingdom. And they needed a way to consolidate their identity and their culture. And so they finalized this book that had been, certain versions of it had been in progress for a few hundred years. And they put in these words after the V'ahavta, right? So we've done two parts of it. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, we've done the part of the Shema, which says, listen, God is one, all is one. And then we've talked about the V'ahavta, which says, copy me, right? Like an Ouroboros. The prayer contains its own key to its own replication, right? A daily concern. Yes, so I'm about 2 feet away from this candle. The way the camera angle is such that it looks like I'm a lot closer, right? So now the candle's basically touching the phone, and now the candle's basically like halfway between me and the phone, and now the candle is very close to my face. So we're good. We're good. I mean, maybe I can make the wick a little bit smaller if you like. Why do people always need to ask my gender? Because my gender is strange, right? Like, why do I follow trans women on the internet? Because I think they're fucking gorgeous. Good morning, baby love. In any case, the book of Deuteronomy, we can sort of view the entire book as like an attempt to preserve the culture, preserve the tradition. And so we have these 3 prayers in the book of Deuteronomy, back to back to back, right? All is one. Repeat the fact that all is one. And then a political prayer, a land acknowledgement of sorts, right? It's a land acknowledgement, right? It's about how we live on stolen land. So let's say that prayer. And if you like, as I'm saying it, do let me know whose land you live on, because it's important to know. V'chaya, ki v'chaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai lavotecha le'avram li'Yitzchak u'Yaakov לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית, ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת, ובורות עצבים אשר לא עשת, וכרמים בזיתים אשר לא נתת, והלכת ושבת. ישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תישך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. Bondage, the house of bondage. That's what Mibet Avadim, the house of Mibet, house Avadim, bondage. So what is this house of bondage? Right, well, the full translation of that Hebrew is when Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, swore to those Jews that were exiled only a lifetime ago, only a generation ago. Good morning, Avi. Were exiled to the land of Babylon, when he swore that they would return to great and flourishing cities that they did not build, and houses full of all good things that they did not fill, and hewn cisterns that they did not hew, and vineyards and olive groves that they did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, Sky Dad, genocidal maniac, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. So when I read this prayer, right, I read it as an acknowledgement that, first of all, that Israel is stolen land, but then more generally, that the land in which we all live on is stolen, right? And that the riches that we enjoy today, can I talk a bit slower? Sure. The riches that we enjoy today, right? These beautiful houses, these cisterns filled with water. Right? There's a cistern up on the hill that I drink from every day. I did not dig it. I did not hew it. Right? So much in our lives we do not deserve, and in fact is here because others suffered for it. Others had it taken away from them. And so I live on Oneida land. Right? This land in this part of New York State, before it was the state of New York, was Oneida land. All land was, quote, stolen at some point. Exactly, right? And then in recognizing that, we have to figure out how to incorporate that into our understanding of reality and into our lives, right? And the fact that this land is stolen, like, there are no Oneida that I can give this land back to. There are no Oneida that would accept it, right? The damage has been done. And furthermore, even if there were people knocking at the door saying, hey, this is my land, I'd like it back, I would say no. I'd say, hey, this is my home now. And I understand that I didn't necessarily earn it, but I cannot bear to be homeless, right? That would be literally suicide. And this is the state of affairs in Israel and Palestine. Like, yes, we can acknowledge that the land was stolen through racism and genocide and all the rest, and it will not be returned, right? Not all of it, because it's other people's homes now. My grandparents had their home stolen from them, and then they moved to America, occupied land that was stolen from someone else. So here we are. We cannot change the past, but we can acknowledge it, and we can try to understand it, and we can live. We can live. Yes, we can change the future. We all live on stolen land. So here's a song about that. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me. And Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Asherah. So who is Asherah? Right, well, we were just reading from the book of Deuteronomy. Asherah is not in the book of Deuteronomy, and in fact, the creation of the book of Deuteronomy is concurrent with the elimination of Asherah from the tradition. That song is called Last Year's Man by Leonard Cohen, right? A modern Jewish priest, if you will. Thank you, Bonnie. So Asherah, here's a depiction of Asherah, right? Yahweh and his Asherah. This is a pottery shard from Kunlet Arjud, right? And the inscription on top says Yahweh and his Asherah. Right? So this is dated to about 3,000 years ago. The book of Deuteronomy is dated to about 2,500 years ago. So over the course of that 500-year period, Asherah went from occupying a prominent position in the pantheon of these Canaanitic gods to being virtually eliminated. And that was a political move in order to protect a certain kind of identity, patriarchal identity. Is there a reason why? Yes. So when you read the Torah, it's this like constant polemic against foreign gods, right? And this makes sense when you recognize that it was written by people in exile, right? People who were refugees, people who had everything stolen from them by foreigners. And so of course they wrote a book that in whatever way they could denounced anything that was other, right, and created this intense self-other distinction. And it was also, you can read the book as a history of the patriarchy, right? It's a story of over 1,000 years how a group of kings and priests consolidated their power. And one of the ways they did so was by systematically removing women from all positions of religious authority. So, like, the question, like, why was Asherah eliminated? There's my rice. is a complicated one, and on TikTok I can't give you anything more than a feminist soundbite, right? Like, she was eliminated because patriarchy is basically my belief, but it's more complicated than that, right? Like, there was a complicated theological and political evolution that concluded in monotheism, but concluded in monotheism with a very patriarchal tone, right? Like, there's no reason. It's my rice cooker. There's no reason why Yahweh needs to have a male gender, right? Like, why, when we say, because Yahweh was also eliminated, right? Like, that's this other point that I should emphasize. It wasn't just Asherah that was eliminated from the text. Yahweh was eliminated too. Both of these gods were gone, right? We don't represent either of them like this anymore. Instead, the word Yahweh was replaced with the term Adonai, Lord, which is still a male term, right? So Yahweh's gender was not taken from him, but basically everything else was, right? Like, any other character trait was removed in favor of this, like, transcendent, omniscient deity. And, like, there are, like, good, strong metaphysical reasons for making that change. It's my friend. My friend brought me berries.
A gift.
Oh my gosh.
I hope that you will share it with some other friends that you have.
On the internet?
Also real life friends who might be currently in the garden, but I know that you're going to hang out with later.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm not done streaming. I'm not even close to being done streaming. I'll see you later. Thank you. We grew these. Parasocial raspberries. Yes. Wow. Well, this is spectacular. Oh, there's a little ant. Hey, little ant. We grew these. They're not from the dumpster. They're from our raspberry bush. Yes, these raspberries are a curated experience. You can see them, but you cannot taste them. Just like you can see me, but you cannot taste me. Very unfortunate. Okay. They're delicious. They are delicious. Okay, well, am I just gonna eat raspberries in front of you? Feeding your Tamagotchi berries. Yeah, I'm your little Tamagotchi. Exactly. Okay. So, I went on a little bit. You wish you had a friend to hand me a bowl of berries? That was a magical interaction. It is a magical interaction. I feel really blessed. I'm like absurdly lucky, right? And like that's why this works. The internet is just like a jealousy curating machine. Where's my ant? Oh my god, there's a lot of ants here. Yeah, so these are not from the dumpster, but they're still covered in bugs. Everyone's like, aren't you afraid of all the bugs on the dumpster food? Well, no, not really. Check out this ant. Oh! Ant just dropped. Oh, here's another one. Here's an ant. Can you see that? There's an ant. Here's an ant. Oh. Yum. Alright. Anyway, I'm just gonna eat these ants. So, I've lost my train of thought because the raspberries are distracting me. So, yeah, maybe one point about this set of prayers that I haven't made clearly enough is that both Yahweh and Asherah were lost. Right, so Asherah was just literally eliminated, right? Like her statues were destroyed. Statues of Yahweh were destroyed too, right? And the name became taboo. And Yahweh as a god became something very different after the Babylonian exile. And so when I do these prayers, I say the name Asherah to like bring the divine feminine back into my religious understanding of the world, but I also say the name Yahweh, even though like I don't particularly like Yahweh and think that Yahweh is like kind of reprehensible as a character, because I think that these characters are important. And so I repeat their names. Yeah, so I'll do a couple prayers like that. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam Shelu Ashani Isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman, because it's not in Yahweh's nature to make me a woman. I had to do that. I did that. Baruch atah asher anat melecha haolam asher yitzaret ha'adam b'chachama uvara v'od. I repeat the name of Asher Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. These raspberries, they're just too tempting. They are just too tempting. I mean, look at this. Look at them. They're just so good. They're just so good. Do I dumpster clothes? Is that something you can do? Occasionally. I usually dumpster at grocery stores. So there aren't many clothes in grocery store dumpsters, but sometimes there are, because sometimes these stores, like, they try to sell multiple things. Yeah, so you can dumpster clothes. So, where were we? What are we doing? How are you all doing? Where am I from? How did I get into dumpster diving? How long I've been doing it? I've been dumpstering. Those ants were your friends? I don't believe you, Abby. How could those ants be your friends? They spent their entire lives on my farm. You just met them. Jimmy and Earl. Well, I'm glad that you named them. But, I eat creatures with names all the time. People get really upset that, like, I post these videos about my goats, right? About Bronto and Rex and Tara. And I say their names and I tell you about how they're crossing the brook. And I'm going to eat them. I'm going to kill a Bronto in, like, a month and a half. I'm going to put a gun to his head. I'm going to chop him up and then eat him. And that's what you do. So I'm a human. I'm a predator. And that's part of who I am. Yeah. Wait, go back to my question. When did I start dumpster diving? I went dumpster diving first time when I was 19. It was 12 years ago. So all the goats are they're dinosaur names, so it's Brontosaurus and Pterosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex, so Rex and Bronto and Terra. And then Lovey, because he's just very affectionate. I don't know. Yeah, so I first went dumpstering 12 years ago, and I slowly learned, and by, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in, I was feeding a community exclusively out of dumpster food. I read a book about it. You can read the story about my first dumpster dive in my cookbook. It's called A Curious Harvest. There's a link in my bio if you want to get a copy of that book. Yeah, dumpstering. I do like the dumpster. I'm going to post another dumpster video soon, but I resent TikTok for giving me millions of views exclusively about dumpsters, because, like, my life isn't all about the dumpster, despite the fact that I like dumpsters a lot. Do I ever get sad about the goats? I feel like I have an emotional barrier because they're food. I feel things about goats. I care about them. Like, I have a deep emotional connection to those goats. And, like, my partner taught me how to take care of them. Like, they're not just dead meat to me. But, like, for me, that the practice of raising them and seeing them every day and then killing them and eating them, right? It's all the same practice, right? And in its own way, it's a meditation on the life that we all live, right? Like, yes, I honor them by taking them into me. Like, I don't want to live a life where I don't acknowledge that death is all around me. And so I live a life where I have to cause some of that death, right? And if I were to not eat the goats, if I were to be a vegetarian or a vegan, right, then I would just be drinking a lot of soy milk, right, and profiting off of vast monocultures in Nebraska that are equally violent. I just don't see the violence, right? Whether or not you eat meat, whether or not you kill the meat yourself, you are still participating in a food system that is inherently violent, because it's a food system, because we're heterotrophs, we're other eaters, we're not plants, right? So I try to recognize that. I try to recognize that suffering, and the violence that is inherent in all of our lives. And so I eat the goats. And yes, when I kill them, I'm gonna feel things, right? Like, yeah, I spent a whole year taking care of this goat, and then I'm gonna put a gun to his head and rip his skin off. Like, it's a violent act. But the emotional arc of that act is not just grief. It's not just horror. It's more than that, right? Like, it makes me feel whole in a certain sense, and whole can be sad. Whole can be deeply terrible. If I'm sad around slaughter time, I think sadness is an emotion that I feel, yes. And honor and thanks. There's a whole suite of emotions. Yes, I do study biology. I'm getting a PhD in mycology. Yeah. Yes, I'm a graduate student. I teach mycology at the university level. You've never heard of someone eating goat meat. Well, that tells me something about the culture that you're from, right? Goat is one of the earliest domesticated animals. We've been eating goat meat for at least 8,000 years. Wildflower, you're still here. Thank you. Okay. Well, maybe we should continue praying. I'm going slow today. Well, I'm having a nice time. I'm having a very nice time. What is my hair routine? I shower every other day. If you look in my archive, you're watching while cleaning. Thanks. If you look in my archive, there is a video called Morning Shower that has me in the shower, and you can see what I do to my hair. It's not much. I put in a leave-in conditioner. I wash it occasionally. You picked fresh onions from your garden. That's great. Well, you're keeping me company, Wildflower. We're keeping each other company. Yeah. Gajananam Gutankanadi Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Umasutam Sukabinasakarnam Mahamatim Divyamayuravahanam Rudasyasrinam Surasainanatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Sarahadavala Yasuravasvarita Yavina Varanda Manditakara Yasvita Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihesa Jadyapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanjaya Santaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Om Salty, I appreciate you bringing that up, though. I just got a notification on my phone that it was overheating, which I commonly get. This is an old phone. I'm worried that I might need to replace it. Turns out that running a social media business, you have to buy hardware, and your phones break. Like, look, this phone is all cracked, and I can't use this phone to live stream anymore because the microphone's broken on it, but that's a really good camera. This phone cost me $1,000. I'm just, hardware's expensive. It sucks. I don't want to have to buy phones all the time, but I have to buy phones all the time. Anyway, I probably need to get a new phone, and it's entirely possible that some of the issues that you're experiencing have nothing to do with you and have everything to do with me. In any case, like, follow, subscribe, so that I can have enough money to buy a new phone. Joking, not joking, actually. Anyway, you're good? I sound okay? Good. Well, do let me know if you're starting to have signal issues, because it might be on my end and I might have to restart the stream, which is not something I want to do. Okay. So, these berries. I'm going to eat all of them. I'm not going to share any of them with my friends because they're just too tempting. Did I paint that tree? Yes, I didn't paint it because it's not paint, it's Sharpie, but I did make the tree. I made it with Sharpie. Social media influencer. Yeah, I think I am a social media influencer. I think that's what I am. I'm not sure. I've helped you with your mental health and saving you from suicide. I saved you from suicide. You saved yourself from suicide, my friend. But I'm glad that I helped. I'm glad that I helped. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm here. Triambakam yajamai sugandim pushchivardhanam orva rukami babandanan mrityoy mukshiyam amritato Triambakam yajamai sugandim pushchivardhanam orva rukami babandanan mrityoy Mukshiyam amritato Sarvesham svastir bhavatu sarvesham Shantir bhavatu sarvesham Purnam bhavatu sarvesham Mangalam bhavatu Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashantu makashid dukhabhagbhave, asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityur mamritam gamaya, om purnamadam purnamidam purnat, purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vashishate, om shanti shanti shanti, om peace. Peace, peace. This outer world is full. This inner world also full. Taking full from full. Fullness remains. From fullness comes fullness. Like a serpent that eats its tail. Peace, peace, peace. You do fit in well here, Yuki. Right? You do. Like, it's clear. Like, it's really obvious. I get thousands of people in this stream over time, but few of them leave the kind of impact that you do. So I'm really glad that you're here. Most calming thing ever, I am. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you. I really should stop eating these berries, but they're just so good. So, can't stop, won't stop. Maybe I'll just put them right here. Berries. Yeah, whenever someone asks me if I'm a boy or a girl, I reply yes. When someone asks me what religion is this, yes is the proper answer. Yes, this is religion. I don't know. Like, this is a legitimate problem. Like, I'm just not very good at categories. I'm just not. Right? Like, I'm not good at identifying as things. I'm not good at believing things. Like, I just engage. And then I'm on the internet, and people want simple answers. They want to be able to categorize me. They want to be able to say, oh, you're a Jewish girl, right? You're a Jewish trans girl. Well, like, I guess so, right? But, like, maybe I'm a Hindu cis boy. I don't know. Not a cis boy. But just, like, I don't know how to play the category game. I just don't. I've never known how to play the category game. This is like a metaphysical confusion that I hold that makes me who I am. So, yes. Yes. I just like you all. I just like you all a lot. Okay. So, speaking of not being able to play the category game, let's pray about not praying, right? I choose these songs for a reason. We're going to pray about not praying. And, I hope you all like it. You tell me you like this one, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to pray about not praying. A little bit of dissonance for you. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just wanna be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun. Hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray, pray. And it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins. And I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, God and Mom. What I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray. No, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good. And Anat, Anat made bad. Elohim, you made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my Maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, no. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher, made good. And Anat, Anat made bad. Elohim, who made love. And Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except that's a lie. Or at least it's a story. None of those gods exist outside of stories. And I made me. Although, actually, we all are making one another. And I mean that seriously, right? Being this person, being here, this character on a screen that I can be right now, I couldn't be without you. So you're making me. What is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life? God, I've made so many mistakes. You know, I've hurt people very deeply. And I regret it very deeply. The biggest mistake I've made recently was that I wrote a $50,000 grant so that I can make a bunch of films with a friend of mine that I was in love with. And I thought that if we had enough money, we could spend time together. And so we started working on the grant, and blew up. Totally blew up. And I hurt them very badly. And I have deep regret about that. I made a video about one of the biggest mistakes of my life. The video is called The Curious Harvest. It's pinned to my channel. You can watch that. Right? When I was a boy, I was very arrogant, and I thought I could accomplish things that I couldn't. And I raised a bunch of money to start a dumpster kitchen, and then promptly got evicted. That was a deep mistake. Deep, deep mistake. And I learned a lot. I don't know. I've made many mistakes. What's the biggest mistake you've made in your life? It's a good question to ask yourself. Good morning. When I was a boy, yes. Do you actually think it's not possible to change your gender? Like, I think I'm living proof that it's possible. Like, oh, people are funny. People are really funny. God gives his strongest challenges to his strongest people. Interesting. And why does God have a male gender? Why does God use he, him pronouns? It's an interesting question. Don't feed the trolls, star them. You know, sometimes the trolls are just effective. Sometimes they say something that is just so baity that I can't help but respond to it, even though I know I'm feeding them. Because God is a man. Well, Yahweh's a man. Ashra is definitely not a man, though. And I pray to both of them. God is all. You're not being offensive, Christopher. You're actually being very genuine. You're being very genuine here, and I appreciate that. But I do have to ask the question, like, why do we use male pronouns for God? Like, why is that the default that we all do, right? Like, English-speaking people, that's what they do. We use male pronouns for God, and I just find it flummoxing. That's all. Okay, so got a couple more prayers for you today. We're gonna do Arati and Kaddish, and the word Arati means flame. So here we have our little candle flame, little temple flame, and the word Kaddish means holy. And so we're gonna say these two prayers, and then we're gonna have breakfast. I like breakfast. I like breakfast very much. I've been eating breakfast already. Like, seriously, like, my friend came in and said I had to share these berries with my friends, and if I'm not careful, I'm just gonna eat them all. They're just so good. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna put them far away. And then we'll share the rest of them with my friend. Okay, anyway. Arati. Arati, Arati, Arati. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gari Manohara Gari Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatra Suyabati Natanjakaratam Nemavidyabati Kudayamahini Twameva Bantamanavanti Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Bivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhika Veriya Samastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, the stars, nor lightning. So from where does this light come? When that shines, all shines after that. By its light, all else is lit. Twameva mata, chapita twameva, twameva bandhu shasaka twameva, twameva vidya, travinam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmanava prakrite sabhavad karom yad yad mangalam parasmahe Narayana iti sarmar payami. Sarvadhamam pravichayam amekam savarnam vrija. Aham sva sarva papayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you, to those who care, and to the trolls, to all of you, good and evil, who are here today. Thank you all for allowing me to be this person. Ooh, where'd my voice go? Sometimes you shouldn't eat so many raspberries while you're praying because you'll get phlegm in your throat. But truly, thank you all. I'm indebted to all of you for allowing me to be this person. It is the most profound gift. So, now we're going to say Kaddish. The word Kaddish means holy. And here's an image of Kadesh. Right? This is a Egyptian Canaanitic goddess. There's a city, Kadesh, that was destroyed thousands of years ago. Long before the destruction of the city of Jerusalem was the destruction of the city of Kadesh. And from that destruction to today, we can say Kaddish, meaning holy in Semitic. Whatever Semitic language you might be speaking, it's always meant holy. And today, Kaddish is said as a form of mourning and grief. And we say Kaddish for those people who have died before us. And when the pandemic started, I started saying Kaddish for all those people who died of coronavirus. And now that we are here together, I ask that you say the names or some description of those who you would like us to say Kaddish for today. Bring them into our shared awareness, into this shared space that we are holding for one another and holding for them. And so we will say Kaddish for all of those beings that have suffered for the last 3.8 billion years, right? All of the life on this chart, in this tree, they all suffer and will continue to suffer until our lineage is done, many billions of years from now, that may be. So, for the last 2,500 years, these words of mourning have sounded a little bit like this. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayei kol beit Yisrael, b'galau b'zman karif v'imru amin. Yehei shemei Rabbah mi'ba'arach li'alam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'sherata tush birchata v'nechemata, t'yomiran v'yama v'imru amin. Yehei shlamai Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amin. Osei shalom v'imurav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amin. Osei shalom v'imurav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru amin. Thank you. Thank you all for being here with me today. It means a lot. It means a lot. So, I'm gonna blow out the candle, take off the prayer shawl. So we're gonna switch on to Discord now. So for those of you who'd like to join for quick little breakfast, we're gonna have some rice and berries and almonds and some seaweed, perhaps. Maybe I'll have some seaweed. Breakfast on Discord. I would love to talk with you there. I'd love to hear what your voices sound like, right? Spend hours listening to me. And I want to listen to you sometimes. I want to know what y'all are about. So we can move on over to Discord. I'm going to turn the phone around and show you what the Discord looks like. There's... Alright. Look at me, screen within a screen. There's the Ouroboros. There is me, containing myself. Alright.